What's up everyone, it's Jambors, new video, AI video, like no the video it's not AI, but I will be talking about how I'm recreating AI stagings or stagings in the help of AI into the mood boards. I already started with one of my previous videos when I was recreating Ireland, Croatia, Portugal and some other country which I now don't remember of course, but the thing is that you liked it. I will continue with this and I will probably do country by country or definitely a mix. Some of the content will be exclusively for the members, some of them will be available also for you, and one of those will be also the one I'm doing now, which is Spanish staging. Let's talk. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very glad you're here and let's dive into the Spanish staging via ChatGPT. I was starting with some very simple prompts and then I was adjusting and after all I put all those ideas together to create all this set of pictures for you. And why I'm doing it, I'm very curious how much accurate you must be in your thoughts to recreate some staging which already basically exists. That's I wanted to do this because of course next time I will for example do Jos Klein or Czechia or somebody else who we don't know the staging yet, how it will look, or we maybe just know the color palette and so on. But I was curious if I will be able to recreate the staging of Zorra the way how it was looking in the national selection. And I tried and I think the results are quite close. For example, with the very most simplest prompts I put, like it's a cabaret, Zorra is a Zorra. The Nebulossa actually is the duo, but the main singer is in front. This is the central part of the stage. She's blonde. It all looks a little bit as cabaret or brothel. I would like something, and the first picture which appeared with the very simple prompt was this one. We can see that there is this brilliant cabaret really situation. The thing is that I tried to do it for Eurovision, but this is really like a mood board because I'm unable to teach the program the way how Eurovision stage really looks. So it always do more like this kind of behind podium. So it's never like at Eurovision, but as a mood board for color palette, visual design, this will work perfectly because as a really like a storyboarding thing, I think if you have something in your head, you can really use it and then you just play with it to find the thing what you really have in your head to help others to create it. So I think for this matters, this works perfectly, and this picture is a nice showcase, you know, even though it created the main singer as a man. The whole principle over here in this picture, it's actually very readable, visible, color palette, feathers, red color, this kind of very free, a little bit prostitute, but a little bit also playing with the eras, actually kind of tells the story of the song visually in here, in my opinion, very perfectly. The other picture, which I like, and which I think is even closer to the real palette, real atmosphere, I think also real purpose of the song. Something what screams and what is also kind of similar to what we saw in National Selection Benidorm 2024 is this one I see over here. Also it goes with the palette. I would still add here a little bit more goldish. It's still too red, too purple in behind, but it puts everything in the middle. It has this sexiness in it. It talks about the freedom for sure, and you can tell that this is somehow very close to what Zorra or how Zorra could really look on stage, the song. I can imagine that all the background is, you know, spinning, then some lights are burning, but it more goes playing with the curtain. It more goes with this free spirit of the song and also brings with the feathers and so on this dancey vibe and a little bit old schoolish visuals. But I like this actually a little bit more than the real ones. Anyway, let's move on and let's go further. Here I asked, hey, but I want more goldish colors in it, right? It's too purple, too blue. I want red, black and gold in it. This is the dominant color. Also the courtesan dress over here, or like this cabaret lady or brothel lady, let's say from the past, feels good. Also with all those stunning visuals around it, with all those little signs. advertisements with the main symbol in the middle. With still the curtain, there is some depth, so the artist is not finally connected, burnt into the background, but separated, which creates this nice of depth. Now imagine that there are dancers around it, and I think this could actually be very, very nice visual from start of creating a staging, you know, because there are so many elements you can play with. All those candles, all those little bulbs all around, they can also recreate the rhyme. Also you have this background which can be combination of lights, purple and blue, and also it can spin, it can recreate, it can create the contra light, it can also open up so it creates more like a background. So you can play with dimensions over here just by light and LED graphics around it, and maybe some very real props, which I would really like to recreate, some bulbish elements into it to even create a more depth, you know. And then also it's like in the photography, I would also put something in the foreground, and then I would recreate the whole stage in the way that the artist could be always centralized between one foreground, one background, and all attention goes into the middle, and also the dancers around. So it could be more theatrical, let's say, in the way of shooting, for example, the Black Swan, or not, or more likely really the Moulin Rouge. There is this amazing scene from the theater which plays with the contra light a lot. But if you put this disco vibe or this very up-tempo vibe of Zorra, you can do wonders with such a staging, in my opinion. And this dress, this cabaret, it a little bit reminds me of Mimiket last year, but this is much more deep. It has much more depth, you know, in it. And I think this is something what you can recreate, even though with graphics, you can recreate with not attaching so much money into it, in my opinion. The costumes actually should be costly because you need more pairs of the same costumes, but this is something what can add this very authentic but theatrical feeling, like you're watching something which is already familiar for you. Let's move on to the next one, which is this, where I want even more gold, you know, add me dancers over there. It's, in my opinion, I love the dress in this picture. I love this dress in this picture because it screams a little bit more luxury. It screams confidence, and it shows like I'm the queen of the place over here. With the dancers dress a little bit, I would say even underdressed, but in this case, I don't mind it much because they will never be center of the attention of the camera for me. They will be just a distraction a little bit from time to time to change the rhythm, the tempo, and also to make the scene move even more, of course with the camera editing and the tricks. I love the color palette over here, and even though I like the previous ones a little bit better in the way how the visual palette, visual graphics really work, in here the dress is fascinating and creates a little bit different mood. Actually, this somehow in my own mind reminds me much more Spain than the previous one, which talks more about France. This, even it's very subjective what I'm saying, and I have no connection to such things in the way of my education, for example, I don't know, but this kind of say like this is the queen of Spain, and I like it. I like it. I really, really like it, and I think such thing could really work as a contrapunct to all the rest of the dirt of the street, you know, kind of. Okay, let's move on. Here I ask, give me the whole arena view. Give me the all full arena, full of people. Stage is centralized. In the back, it's the LED screen. I want Spanish flags on stage. Of course, it recreated Spanish flags everywhere. But again, I think this color palette, gold and red and black, just fits Zorra, fits the purpose of the song, which is the woman empowerment or empowerment of let's do whatever I want. I'm acceptable by society. It doesn't matter anything around me. If it's the age, if it's the sex, whatever. It's just not to be afraid to be confident. And this, oh come on, like this screams this very posh atmosphere. And maybe too much. In my opinion, it still should be a little bit more concrete, even though I liked, and still Dall-E is playing in here with the curtain-like feeling that created by lights. You can see it in the background, those rays of light, which can actually by light recreate the curtain feeling. And I think if it also goes contra and goes with a little bit different color or different back, if you understand what I mean, it could play that the movement of the curtain without showing it's a curtain. So it's more artistic at some point, but also a lot of contrast with the Spanish flag, which I wouldn't put there. What I like is the crown, are those principles and so on, but this is it. Let's move on next, because I asked, okay, but I want also those bulb Zorra sign over there. Zorra sign, but don't forget, still gold, still red. Those are the dominant colors and blackish background, and I love this as an art. And also I put this art deco, play with a little bit with art deco elements, and they created this kind of throne-ish feeling, huge throne with also nice calm when the artist could be in the middle. Zorra as the thing which can, recreate the tempo. It feels very realistic, and in this way I really love it. I can imagine that the stage would be really inspired more a little bit by art deco elements, which are visually stunning for the eye. They are very amazing because of those very lines actually this style has, and very specific. With this sign Zorra, with the bulbs inside, I would really like to play with real ones, even though this is a huge LED thing. In this case, you need to put the graphics to feel even more behind, to create a dominance, but also feeling of a space, and then the artist can move in front of it, and every dancer, all of it just recreates the stuff around. So it's filled. The stage would feel filled, even though with this combination, I would still prefer that there will be those bulbish signs elements on the stage somewhere around to break a little bit this flatness of the stage, which is designed in here. Okay, let's move on. Yes, then I asked for, okay, I like this art deco style. Let's move and give me 4 pictures from various angles. I want 1 detail on artist, 1 longer shot, 1 wide isometric, 1 wide whole stadium. This is what we'll see in here. None of it fits me. It's really too much art deco in my opinion. It would feel amazingly in such a cabaret. Still, I love the dress over here, which is fantastic in my opinion. This golden black and silver dress over here I liked. Also, I like the first picture where it's really art deco-ish, but even though this actually feels the most close to how the arena will look in Malmö, this is something which goes out of the concept to a different concept. Would this concept be wrong? I like it actually. I would like it. It would feel more elegant in a very contrapunct on how the song sounds. In my opinion, I would still add more red. I would like this brothel feeling in it. Also, I'm biased because I liked the staging look in Benidorm. But if something can go around differently, I would definitely go more art deco, this kind of elegant but still sexy and very confident way, which this picture, and actually this is somehow I was imagining in my head when I was writing the prompt for Dall-E. This is very accurate, even though I would still play with more reddish colors and let the gold to pop out much more with the black than which is on the first picture, to let it a little bit more darker. Of course, those pictures are from far away, so you don't have the whole picture, but I think you can imagine. The last picture, the last picture of this, I don't like at all. Okay, let's move on. And here, it's exactly what I was telling you, with additional color with the red and darker elements, but I then found out that it looks a little bit more as a church. It doesn't have those nice art deco elements which screams in you, which is this really gold and black. The red color breaks it down, but we can see on the picture number 2 here and above that this atmosphere, this kind of clash, this kind of freedom expressed by it with the crowd around feels fantastic. And this is the color palette I would definitely use, and this is something very atmospheric, hard to recreate, but it also would give you a lot of lights ideas, how you can switch from theatrical to filmic, and vice versa all the time, which will dynamize the tempo. I think you can remind Barbara Pravi from France a few years ago, which basically was shot as a movie. It was shot as a movie with contra lights, with all those little elements. it completely killed all the television approaches, and I loved it because it combined the techniques but also followed the atmosphere of the song, make it as an experience. In this case, it also will need it to be more dynamic, and in this case, if you look on the picture number 1 or picture number 3 from this isometric view, also we will have the LED floor. Here I would let the floor spinning all the time. It's dancing like Nebulossa in the middle. Imagine her dress, and her dress is spinning in free flow, and the dancers are like moving with it. So I would use fabric elements like real ones connected to LED, covered with something, and it will look like everything moves. Everybody dance, cover, uncover, do it, whatever. Maybe also some, those things. And I then asked for another one, which is absolutely from different style, because I asked, and also I want a sofa on the stage in the shape of the mouth, which is very nice piece of art from, I don't know who was the designer, but it's very famous piece of art, piece of sofa. I would like to have it there to concrete it, but I also put all the other prompts into it. What basically everything what I tell you so far, I put into this picture, and this is what it got me. It got me this Barbie looking style, more concrete, more fresh, maybe I would say, but it feels like 60s in my opinion somehow, but very, budget-wise, very expensive 60s. And then also it gave me those little mood board concepts, which I kind of like. And this first mood board, the first picture, the last picture, everything, this is somehow this is how the evolution of idea starts. You start with those, then you talk, and then before you start really realizing and creating fabrics and creating dresses and creating props, this is where you are basically starting in creating stagings. Also this one, you first go with the concepts, maybe some also elements, or like every single detail is there in the way how you imagine it, what would you like with some references. And as a reference, I think this all worked perfectly. But tell me, what do you think about it? How do you like AI recreated Zorra with my help? And also which one of those you like the most, and if you do like them, or do you have in your mind something completely different? How do you imagine Zorra, and how do you imagine any other staging? Write me in the comments below and tell me what you think. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. You can become a member so you have the content exclusively much sooner than you will normally, even when normally be released. And also some of those videos will be exclusively only for members. And of course, this will support this channel to grow, and also me to focus on YouTube, because I really enjoy it and I want to bring you completely different content. And finally, this technology allows me to give you part of me, which I normally cannot show, or it would take me so much time to create than this. This is much easier, it saves much more time, and it also helps me to understand how this works and how it could help me, maybe also in my producer's director craft. Because basically, what I just did, it's a breakdown of how you visually think about the staging. And next time I will do it with the staging we don't know, and I'm very curious what you're gonna say. So follow me, watch my other videos, my reactions, my polemics, my podcast from a completely different view than you are used to. So thank you for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Bye.